Good morning. Well, today is the 1st of November and I've returned to the wonderful Yorkshire Dales. Well, this is the Yorkshire Dales, but this particular dale I'm in now was excluded from the National Park boundary. However, it has since become its own designated area of outstanding natural beauty. This is Nidderdale, and I've come to Brimham Rocks.
Brimham Rocks are balancing rock formations on Brimham Moor within the Nidderdale area of outstanding natural beauty. Climbing on top of one of these rocks, I decided to take a look at the views of the beautiful Nidderdale. Brimham Rocks stand at a height of nearly 30 feet in an area owned by the National Trust. There are many variations of rock formations caused by millstone grit being eroded by water, glaciation and wind, some of which have formed amazing shapes. Many formations have been named, though imagination is required and the correct viewing angle is helpful. Examples include the Sphinx, the Watchdog, the Camel, the Turtle and the Dancing Bear. The area was recognised as being a site of special scientific interest in 1958.
Well, I am absolutely full of cold this morning, but I must say being out here in the fresh air is clearing my head nicely. And whatever the case, I'm still going to have a lovely day here in Nidderdale. As a member of the National Trust, I've been able to park here for free. Now, when I first arrived in the car park this morning, I found a lady fiddling around with one of the two pay and display machines. She seemed to be having quite a lot of bother. Now, I discovered that she was actually a National Trust ranger, and she was telling me that the machine that she was fiddling around with has just been set up for members to insert their membership card, which is scanned, and then the ticket will print off to leave inside your car. So she asked me to have a go, and I must admit it wasn't very straightforward. It does say press the red button and then follow the prompts, but it's not really that straightforward to follow. I'm sure a lot of people will find it quite simple, but I must admit, myself and this lady, it wasn't that straightforward. So she was saying that she'll be feeding back comments to the National Trust about this. Thankfully, it's only a 2-week trial.
I continued exploring Brimham Rocks, which I was finding to be a wonderful and fascinating introduction to my very first visit to Nidderdale. Nidderdale is one of the Yorkshire Dales, although outside the Yorkshire Dales National Park. It is the upper valley of the River Nidd, which flows south underground and then along the dale, forming several reservoirs before turning east and eventually joining the River Ouse. In 1947, when the Hobhouse Report recommended the creation of the Yorkshire Dales National Park, it proposed that Nidderdale should be excluded and given a different conservation status. Accordingly, Nidderdale was not included in the national park when it was designated in 1954. In 1963, the then West Riding County Council proposed that Nidderdale should be added to the national park, but the proposal met with opposition from the district councils, which would have lost some of their powers to the county council. The West Riding National Park Committee and its successor, the Yorkshire Dales National Park Committee, did not entirely abandon the idea until 1988, when the alternative area of outstanding natural beauty was proposed and finally designated in 1994.
I have to say that Brimham rocks are impressive, stunning, spectacular, and just downright gorgeous. It's really lovely here. Well, it's now time for me to move on and see more of Nidderdale.
I travelled about 4 miles west of Brimham Rocks to arrive at the only town in Nidderdale.
Well, this looks like a delightful little town here in Nidderdale. This is Pateley Bridge.
Crossing the bridge over the River Nid, I began to explore the small market town of Pateley Bridge. Known locally as Pateley, it is the perfect base for exploring Nidderdale. The Nidderdale Way and Sixdales Trail both pass through the town, but for those who don't wish to walk, there is Nidderdale Pool and Leisure Centre. Containing a 20-metre swimming pool, fully equipped gym and sport hall, and 2 squash courts, the facility officially opened in 2005 after many years of local fundraising. I walked up the High Street to look at its many quaint local shops and tea rooms, which are very welcoming to visitors. Pateley Bridge offers plenty of accommodation, from small cottages to hotels, as well as plenty of places to eat, where local cuisine and delicacies can be experienced. The most famous shop in Pateley Bridge is without a doubt the oldest sweet shop in England, listed in the 2014 edition of the Guinness World Records book as the longest continuous trading sweet shop in the world. Housed in one of the oldest buildings in Pateley Bridge, the shop contains row upon row of glass jars filled with handmade traditional sweets, weighed out by the £1/4 of a pound into old-fashioned scales. The family-run business has traded since 1827, and the owners are proud of its heritage and their unrivalled knowledge of sweets.
Well, Pateley Bridge is lovely. I'm liking Nidderdale.
The last Dales agricultural show of the year, the Nidderdale Show, is held annually on the showgrounds by the River Nid. The show attracts over 14,000 visitors each year. I had really enjoyed exploring the lovely Pateley Bridge, but it was time for me to head on. So just beyond the showground, I turned right and followed Low Wath Road, signposted to Upper Nidderdale. After about 2.5 miles, I came to Gouthwaite Reservoir, constructed between 1893 and 1901. The Elizabethan manor house of Gouthwaite Hall, the ancient home of the York family, was submerged beneath the reservoir. Gouthwaite Whitehall was rebuilt beside the reservoir with materials from the old hall, and is now a Grade II listed building.
Here I am beside Gouthwaite Reservoir. Nidderdale just gets better and better the further I go. Now, bearing in mind that today is the beginning of November, I have to say the weather has been absolutely spot on. It's sunny. It was quite chilly when I first set out this morning, but it wasn't uncomfortably cold. But now it's actually quite mild, so the weather has been absolutely fantastic.
Just past the reservoir, I arrived in the small village of Ramsgill, mainly known for the York Arms, a Michelin-starred restaurant on the village green. Ramsgill was once served by a railway station on the Nidd Valley Light Railway, which was located in the nearby hamlet of Gouthwaite. It opened in 1907 and closed in 1930. As I travelled further north through the natural beauty of Nidderdale, I passed through the village of Lofthouse and headed for a very different kind of location.
Well, I've arrived at my final stop for today here at Nidderdale. And when I called into the shop just there, they told me I need to collect a hard hat for my walk. Protect me head.
Stean Gorge is a spectacular limestone ravine, carved out over thousands of years by water flow, and is the perfect location for outdoor activities like via ferrata, gorge walking, caving, rock climbing, canyoning and abseiling. It is geographically unique, as it is one of the only places in the UK where you can comfortably enjoy both rock sports and canoeing in a single day. As I followed the path through the gorge, I soon discovered why the hard hat was a necessity. One of the reasons I was interested in visiting Stean Gorge was that I knew it was once used as a location in a television show. I was a fan of the 1970s cult TV series Blake 7, and Stean Gorge had been used in one episode called Power Play. Incidentally, Gouthwaite Reservoir, where I had visited a little earlier, had also been a location in Blake 7, in an episode called The City at the Edge of the World.
Another fascinating place. Now, I've got a little bit of a challenge on. Well, this is the challenge, a cave. I'm quite claustrophobic, so whether I actually go through the whole thing is yet to be decided, so we'll see. It is getting very cramped in here actually. I don't think I'll go any further, so I'll head back out the way I came. Well, that was fun, but I really couldn't have gone any further. But I'm sure those who don't mind crouching down in caves will find this a wonderful experience. Well, that's Stean Gorge.
Moving on from Stean Gorge, I ended my day as I came to the hilltop village of Middlesmore. From here, I had possibly the most spectacular views of the day over Nidderdale.
So that's Nidderdale, another wonderful place I've never visited before today, and it is absolutely stunning. My tour today I feel has been quite good in the fact that I've not seen all of Nidderdale, but I've visited some of the key locations, so it's given me a good taste of what's around here. So I'd like to come back here sometime in the future and spend a few more days here to see it in more detail, because let's be honest, after what I've seen of Nidderdale today, it would be absolutely rude of me never to return again.